We begin the news with President Bola Tinubu assuring Nigerians that 2026 will be a more prosperous year for all. Tinubu stated this in his New Year message on Thursday, adding that his administration would sustain the momentum on its major reforms. The president said that the focus in 2026 would be on consolidating the gains and continuing to build a resilient, sustainable, inclusive, and growth-oriented economy. Now, according to him, Nigeria closed 2025 on a strong note, as despite the policies to fight inflation, it recorded a robust GDP growth each quarter, with annualized growth expected to exceed 4% for the year. Tinubu explained that the nation maintained trade surpluses and achieved greater exchange rate stability, while inflation declined steadily and reached below 15%, in line with his administration's target. Meanwhile, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has criticized President Bola Tinubu's administration over the economy, insecurity, and governance, accusing it of incompetence, lawlessness, and political intimidation. Now, Atiku said 2025 was one of the most punishing years in Nigeria's recent history, blaming what he described as economic mismanagement and governance without empathy under the All Progressives Congress-led federal government. He accused the ruling party of deliberately weakening Nigeria's democratic institutions, alleging efforts to turn the country into a de facto one-party state through intimidation and state capture. He warned that a government capable of tampering with laws could not be trusted to conduct free and fair elections in 2027. Meanwhile, Nigeria today, Thursday, the 1st of January 2026, commenced the implementation of its much-anticipated new tax laws and fiscal reforms amid widespread public anxiety. President Bola Tinubu had on Tuesday reaffirmed that the new tax regime signed into law in June 2025 would take effect on the 1st of January, despite repeated calls for various quarters for a suspension to allow for further review. Defending the reforms, President Tinubu assured Nigerians that the new tax laws would not impose additional burdens on citizens. His position was echoed by Taiwo Oyedele, the chairman of the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee, who maintained that the implementation was necessary to reposition the country's revenue framework. Now, joining us to shed more light on this are two gentlemen, Samuel Oyekanmi, a research and insight lead at Nuremberger Financial Group, and Olusesan Okunade, a chartered accountant and tax consultant. Let me start with Oyekanmi. Happy New Year to you. What is the main goal of these new tax laws, and how do they help to reduce Nigeria's reliance on oil money?
Yeah, again, Happy New Year, right? I think it's pretty much information out there while the government has embarked on this journey to pretty much harmonize our tax structure in the country in a bid to also improve tax collection, because one of the issues that we've had over time has been the fact that we have a number of businesses and individuals, especially high-earning people, who evade taxes and have not been quite compliant when it comes to taxation. And then you also have issues of multiple taxation, either from states, local government, and even from the federal level on businesses and individuals. So again, what these reformers try to do is to harmonize the tax system and in a way come up with some form of progressive timetable or calendar that helps to reduce the burden, tax burden on low-earning individuals and corporates, while also taxing pretty much imposing higher taxes on higher earners. What these would do is going to help beyond improving tax collection, is also going to help simplify tax collection. So if you look at the medium-term expenditure framework that was released for 2026 into 2028 and 2028, you see that oil revenue has not been doing well, again, as has been the case over time. And what that tells you that in the medium to long term, it would be non-sustainable to rely on revenues coming from the international oil market, either as a result of the volatility in international crude oil prices or the inability of Nigeria to be able to meet production quota. So there's need to source those revenues from other side. And one of those things is to be able to tighten collection around the non-oil tax side of things. And this is geared towards that. I don't expect that in 2026, miraculously, our non-oil revenue or tax revenue is going to surge and start again helping our fiscal numbers. But I believe in the medium to long term, we'll start see that also help improve the fiscal numbers.
All right, let me go to Okunade now. And talking about low-income earners, will low-income earners like the minimum wage workers have to pay more personal income tax? Because the president said it's not going to affect the ordinary citizens. But are they going to have to pay extra income tax under these reforms, or are there protections in place for them?
Thank you very much, Blessing. Happy New Year to you and to all our viewers across the globe. Straight to your question, I think the narrative outside there is those that have access to the social media handle, who are very minimal in number, are pushing out narrative that is misleading to the people that this tax is actually set out to relieve. Let me tell you basically that most of the low-income earner, some will be on tax holiday, the tax exempted. Some will pay minimal tax compared to what they are actually paying before. Critically, the first set of people, anybody earning minimum wage as we speak, is exempted from tax, paying any personal income tax, 800,000 and above. And you also have a consolidated relief of rent relief of up to 500,000. So if you earn as much as 1.3, 1.2, 1.3 million, definitely your tax rate will be zero. And for other graduated rates, as projected by the fiscal committee, you discover that there are reduction in the taxes that they are going to pay, except for those that they have as much as 50 million and above per annum, that will have a slight adjustment. And the fairness of this is that a lot of people at the hierarchy, a lot evade taxes, and it is the people at the lower cadre that bear the brunt. Like my brother said, one of the advantages of this new tax law is the unification of all the taxes that we have, levies, where the new tax act will definitely consolidate all this into like 5 headers that we have: the income tax, the stamp duty, the development levy of 4% that was actually put in the VAT taxes. So you discover that the area of people just levying up small businesses will not be a thing of the past, which we expect the implementation team to swing into action, where we'll minimize all those that attack those people. So this new law, sincerely speaking, is, I call it a game changer. Why? If you are doing same thing the same way, you don't expect different results. Can we approach it from a different perspective and see what it can get? But I can tell you that the low-income earner, because of the misconception, thought that possibly they are the target in this particular thing. But I can tell you that the relief is much more for them if they are able to do all that is expected of them correctly.
All right, thank you so much for that. Let me come to Oyekanmi, and this question is going to go both ways, but Oyekanmi first. How would these changes affect the everyday prices at the market? What can the businesses from passing on, or what will stop the businesses from passing on extra costs to the buyers?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting perspective. Personally, I don't see how that on a plain ground, right, in normal situation, I don't see how that is supposed to impact prices, because the truth is that the only people who should fear this tax reform are those who do not pay taxes before. I have tried to put the numbers into perspective. Myself, I did the new calculation for my own taxes going forward, and it had reduced just as a result of that graduation that we saw in terms of the payment calendar and the rates. So again, businesses are not necessarily having to pay higher taxes. And again, if you look at it, most of the businesses in Nigeria, right, they're small businesses, and there's already a caveat that says small businesses, that's those who have gross turnover of 50 million and less, are typically exempted from these taxes, right? Those businesses do not have to pay taxes. So I don't see a reason why they should be passing on any form of cost to individuals or businesses or those who are or their customers. Now, for the large businesses that have to pay taxes, the truth is that they are paying the same taxes. It's not like it has increased. It's just what we've seen is that there's now going to be a tight leash to ensure that corporates who make money file those returns and then pay taxes. And this comes again to play where you have the likes of the FCCPC, right, who should be able to now help in protecting consumers, ensuring that businesses do not just over and beyond on their own terms, just increase prices just because they want to be able to pass on the cost of the taxes that they are now paying. Because to me, taxes and the tax did not necessarily increase. And if it does for some business, is rather might be not so substantial. So what will be the problem are those businesses who before now do not pay taxes and would now have to pay, will now try to pass on those costs to individuals. Of course, we have regulators who should be able to help to fight against that and ensure that consumers are protected.
Okay, let me quickly, Okunade, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, he has said much of it. I think it is the responsibility of the regulators, because you see the narrative out there is always misleading, and trust the middle class, trust the wholesalers. They want to cash out on this to come and tell you that, are you not aware that we are now paying taxes? Let's set the record straight. Just like he said, small and medium businesses, in fact, as at the last gazette, the first one was 50 million, but as at the last gazette, it's 100 million turnover, and the fixed asset is 250 million. That is enough. So most medium class are going to be exempted. But you know the problem, before now, a lot of people are actually evading taxes. And now that they have automated the process, but part of the thing that this reform is bringing in, I'm sure you have heard about invoicing for the multinational, the big companies, where the Nigerian Revenue Service can now integrate and monitor what the services look like. These are things that are done in the developed client. Even before you prepare your account, the revenue board already knows taxes that are accruable to you. But before now, a lot of people hide under several things. And with the new introduction of unifying those particular bills, a lot of people might feel that they are after them. It's just doing the right thing, the right way, and be able to fulfill your obligation even to the government. I know a lot of people will now come up with that other aspect to say, we are doing our part. What is the position of the government? And let me conclude by saying, now you have a tax on bonds where you can actually take some of the issues that might arise between you and the Nigerian Revenue Service or any of the Revenue Service department, where they can stand the gap for you. If indeed they are not doing what is right, without you actually making so much payment to that. So that is also a relief, a fallback on, as against what we used to have before. So I feel that the regulators who are concerned with monitoring the prices of goods, so that an average person who is not well lettered or informed will not be exploited, should swing into action as we speak. Taxes has not increased. The only thing is that there is proper monitoring, automation for compliance to everyone that carrying out his businesses in Nigeria.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on the news. We really appreciate your time with us. Samuel Oyekanmi, Research and Insight Lead at Norenberger Financial Group, and Olusesan Okunade, a Chartered Accountant and Tax Consultant. We appreciate your time, and definitely we'll see how the whole tax thing pans out. And I'm really hoping that more Nigerians get educated, because the reason why there's fear and panic most likely is because they don't really understand what the tax situation is about. But thank you so much for your time once again. In the meantime, the Nigeria Labour Congress has called on the federal government to urgently review workers' wages in 2026. We'll bring you the details of this and more after the break. Now, the Nigerian Labour Congress has called on the federal government to urgently review workers' wages in 2026, citing rising inflation and growing economic hardship. In a New Year address, NLC President Joe Ajaero said salaries must reflect a living wage rather than income meant only for survival. Ajaero described 2025 as a difficult year for workers, but expressed hope for improved engagement with the government in the new year. He also urged workers to remain united and vigilant, stressing that the NLC would mobilize to hold leaders accountable and push for policies that ease the burden on ordinary Nigerians. As families across the Federal Capital Territory continue to enjoy the New Year holiday, recreational parks in Abuja are gradually coming alive, with residents stepping out to relax and celebrate. One of the busiest spots is the Millennium Park, where people are gathering to spend quality time with loved ones before the work routine fully resumes. Now, to capture the mood and how residents are making the most of the holiday, we go live now to News Central's Idong Joseph, who is currently at the Millennium Park. Idong Joseph, Happy New Year to you. And I can see that you're currently at the Millennium Park in the FCT. What is the turnout there like, and how are families celebrating the New Year holidays at the park?
Good afternoon and Happy New Year to you. Blessings once again. Yes, I am at the Millennium Park. It is one of the busiest parks, recreational parks in the Federal Capital Territory here. And at the moment, the atmosphere is quite calm and there's excitement in the air. And if you can see around you, you get to see what I'm talking about the scantiness of the park for now. But this park normally gets busier by 2 p.m., 3 p.m., down till 6 p.m. when it is the official closing time for the park. And in this park here, you get to see children's sports, where if you come out with your children, they get the opportunity to meet with other children and also have fun time together. And while we were coming into the park here, there's a heavy security at the main gate of this park, where they try to control traffic and let you know where you're supposed to park your car and where not to park. And there's also a mini entrance where you have to show the officials there whatever you're carrying into the park. And without that, you won't be granted access into the park. And outside that mini entrance of the park, there's also vendors outside there selling food and drinks. And so for families who came here and did not come with something to eat and merry, they can also buy outside there. For now, just as I said, it's celebration all the way. And even behind me, there are some families playing music there, so you can come with your sound system and also have time with your family here. So it's quite calm for now, but it gets busier later in the day.
What are the residents telling you about how they're choosing to unwind before returning to work? Idong Joseph, did you get that? Let me just repeat my question.
Well, most of them whom I have spoke to are excited about the break, and they are happy to come out. Yes, I got your question.
Go ahead, please.
And so I will just continue from there. All right, I'll just continue. Most of them whom I spoke to are excited about the break, it gives them more time, quality time to spend with their family. And to get a feel of that, I have a family here that is willing to speak to us on how they are celebrating this. And so I'll just walk up to the family now, and so you can get the feel of what residents have in this celebration. Okay, sir, please, you can just sit down. Just sit down so that we can capture you and your wife.
Okay.
Okay, good afternoon once again, sir.
Good afternoon.
Please, you tell us your names and you tell us why you've chosen here today and what this meant to you and your family, this outing.
Okay, I'm Pastor Lori Benjamin, Evangelist Mrs. Lori Benjamin, my wife. For us, we felt we should come around just to relax with the family, knowing that today is the 1st of January. We believe that we don't have all the time during the course of last year, moving from place to place, doing business, doing ministry. So you needed to spend quality time with the family. And my children specifically said they wanted us to come here because we were here last year and they loved what they saw. So they felt we should come here again. And don't forget that you get to meet a lot of families here, a lot of people, and there is a good number of security personnel at the posts. which also guarantees safety and all that. So these are some of the reasons why we decided to come to the Millennium Park this year.
Okay, I'll ask this on the final question. The year has just begun. What are your expectations and hope for the year?
Yeah, I want to believe that the year will be better because last year ended on a good note. We saw that there was a downward trend of inflation. So we hope that those in authority in government will continue to do their best to improve the lives of Nigerians, because at the earlier part of last year it was very tough, but as we progress we saw some bits of respite. So we hope that this year 2026 will be better. According to the president's speech, that things will get better. There will be better economic growth. We are hoping that it will translate into money in the people's pockets so that they could be able to afford the things. So we trust that this year will be better than what we saw last year in all its ramifications. And we hope there will be peace, most importantly. We're happy with the way recently the government, in collaboration with the United States, are handling the bandits issue in western Nigeria, northwest, specifically Sokoto and some other states. So we hope they could build on that and let's have peace, because a country where there is no peace, you will not be able to do much. Farmers are not able to go to farm, and if farmers don't go to farm, there will not be enough produce. So we trust God that those in authority, they will listen and do the needful so that we can get better and enjoy our country. Because we don't have any other country. Thank you.
Very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing your New Year excitement with us. Okay, blessings, you've heard from him. That is how what most of the residents in the Federal Capital Territory here are feeling and how they are celebrating their New Year break.
All right, Don Joseph, thank you for bringing us an update from the Millennium Park in the FCT. We go back to some New Year messages. In Rivers State, Governor Simeola Fubara has urged his supporters to remain calm and ignore what he described as sounds of war as the state ushered in the new year. The governor made the call during a crossover service held at the Government House Chapel in Port Harcourt. Fubara acknowledged that the state was unable to achieve all its planned objectives in the outgoing year due to political challenges. However, he said Rivers State still had many reasons to be grateful, stressing that progress was recorded despite the crisis. The governor encouraged the people of Rivers to remain steadfast and hopeful in 2026, assuring them that peace, stability, and renewed development efforts would define the year ahead.
The double trouble by the sound of war that you're hearing. We have stepped into 2026 with a very strong assurance. Who puts their trust in the Lord will never be put to shame. And we should not be carried away or be scared by the stories of war. Then to listen gently and quietly to that whisper that God is going to give to us. The war made it possible for us to still stand here to say 2026, here we come. We will continue to bring our support, not by noise, not by threats, but by assuring the good people of our states that in a peaceful and understanding manner, that Tinubu will have his way in the state.
Edo State Governor Monday Okpewolo says the state is entering 2026 with renewed hope, stronger security, and inclusive development. In his New Year message, the governor reflected on his first year in office, acknowledging inherited challenges such as insecurity, poor infrastructure, and low public confidence. He noted that steady progress has been recorded under his Shine agenda across security, infrastructure, healthcare, education, agriculture, and job creation. While challenges remain, including road conditions and cult-related activities, the governor says his administration is confronting them decisively. He also announced enhanced security strategies for 2026, including technology-driven measures and a dedicated security hotline, pledging that no community will be left behind. Residents of Asaba, the Delta State capital, ushered in the year 2026 with prayers, praise, and vibrant celebrations as Christian faithfuls gathered at worship centers across the city for crossover services. News Central's Austin Azu reports.
As early as 9 p.m. on December 31st, Christian faithful began converging on worship centers across Asaba, the Delta State capital, to await the arrival of the new year. The atmosphere was electrified with high-spirited worship, soul-lifting hymns and energetic praise sessions, as worshippers expressed gratitude to God for his faithfulness throughout the past year. The services featured testimonies, prophetic declarations, and fervent prayers for divine protection, peace, economic stability, and progress in 2026. Clergy urged congregants to remain hopeful despite the country's economic challenges.
That in 2026 we will be effortlessly powerful. I say we will be effortlessly influential. What money cannot give you, power will easily grant you.
As the clock struck midnight, church auditoriums erupted with loud cheers and shouts of Happy New Year. Moments later, the night sky came alive with colorful fireworks, particularly around the Interval roundabouts, Okpanam Road, and the Stephen Keshi Stadium Oasis, as families and youth celebrated the dawn of 2026. While some residents expressed optimism for a better year, others shared their resolutions for the months ahead.
I'm very happy to see this year. Very happy. God will protect us in this Nigeria. Everything, He will guide us. He will see us through.
It's a new year. It's time for you to reflect and do a scorecard. Check what you couldn't achieve. Put strategies in place in order for you to make progress. However, it does not work automatically.
My New Year resolution to be a better person and have multiple sources of income. That's the best way to survive in Nigeria.
A few residents also spoke about their preparedness and expectations regarding the newly introduced tax law.
Taxation is a global phenomenon, but our government have not been accountable enough. We have monies that have been recovered from looters, monies that have been repatriated even into Nigeria, and we keep borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. So what will happen to this new one that they want to compulsorily take from people?
So I think the government should look into all these important things. I think they are more important than even the tax, but the tax, I don't have a problem with that.
This is how some residents of Asaba welcomed the year 2026 with these fireworks all over the state capital. However, in the year 2026, they are expecting to see a different result about the economy, the security, and political architecture of Nigeria. In Delta, for News Central, Austin Azu.
You're still live with us on the news. We go on a short break now, and when we come back, victims recount losses from Lagos fire incident as rescue operations continue. This and many more after the break. It's now exactly 1 week since the devastating fire that gutted the Great Nigeria Insurance House on Martin Street in Balogun Market, Lagos Island. Despite the passage of time, emergency services are still battling the aftermath as rescue operations continue amid growing anger from affected traders. News Central's correspondent Israel Ifarobo reports.
That building there, they have nothing less than 40 persons there.
1 week after the inferno that reduced the Great Nigeria Insurance House to rubble, the scene still bears the scars of destruction. Emergency responders remain on the ground, containing pockets of fire and combing through debris in search of possible survivors. For traders who lost goods and loved ones in the blaze, hope is fading, but not completely gone.
On that fateful day that thing happened, I was among the people that were trapped there with my daughter. So, but I was able, God help me, I was able to come out. But my daughter is still there. So, till today, nothing has been done.
The government is not helping us. They are not helping us because since that 25, people are calling. Many of them that are trapped is under this place are calling their loved ones. I'm calling they are still alive, but they need help.
I'm here in respect of my brother-in-law. His name is Olusesan Anyachebe, former law. So since we came here on Monday, we haven't seen anything moving as supposed to be. Government is not helping the matter.
I'm here because of my other brother, who was among the people who are still trapped inside the collapsed building. The government have not been doing anything. I didn't mean that this rescue, when they started, they were fast about it. I can say yes, that my brother will still be alive.
The traders accused the authorities of a slow response, saying the delay worsened the damage and reduced the chances of rescue. Some allege that in desperation, they had to pull money together to hire private water trucks to battle the flames.
Individuals have volunteered to bring excavator. They said no, and at a point the work have to stop, and the market people, all of us, the victim families, started to contribute money to buy water to make sure that they quench the fire.
As rescue efforts drag on, families of the missing wait anxiously for answers, while traders count the losses and demand accountability.
Please, we are begging. People are trapped in there. I have two brothers, trapped in there. Please help us. I'm begging. Please. Hey.
With emergency operations still ongoing, the big question remains whether more victims will be found and if lessons will be learned to prevent another tragedy in one of Lagos' busiest commercial hubs. In Lagos, for News Central, Israel Ifirobo.
Also, we have one of those affected by the fire incident here in the studio to share more light on the fire. Norbert Prince-Will, a businessman, is here with us in the studio. Norbert Prince-Will, I'm so sorry about the fact that you were affected by the fire. Can you describe the moment that the fire started and how quickly the fire spread in the market?
It started on the 24th, around 2 p.m. in the afternoon, which it hasn't escalated then, and we're hoping that the government will come through for us and come to our aid and put off the fire. But no, they were there, the fire service were there, and they could not even do anything. They were just there trying to battle with their pipes and all that, knowing that it's even condemned, some were even busted and trying to put in water, and the thing was not even working. And they were there, and they saw when the building collapsed and affected others. And I won't lie, it affected me so bad, whereby I was so devastated. I didn't even know what to do. Man, I'm still trying to get on my feet, and I won't lie, I lost a lot, and no good information, nothing. They were just there, dumbfounded. People died in the incident, and it's just a sad story. It's the worst year ever, though.
I'm so sorry about that. You said that you lost a lot. What kind of goods or stock did you lose? And can you give us a rough estimate of the financial damage that has cost you?
Yeah, I'm talking about over 20 to 30 million naira lost of goods, items. I couldn't, nothing was found. I could not even recover anything, not even a dime. I saw my goods burning to ashes, though, and I was just there, nothing there.
How has this affected your business operation, if it's still on, and your family, especially this festive season?
It affected me so bad, whereby I was not able to do anything. I could not even do what I wanted to do, celebrate with my family. I'm so sad. It all got us into a bad mood. We couldn't even do anything. We couldn't even celebrate. I'm just so bad though. So,
if you were to be speaking directly with the government or a representative right now, what kind of support would you be demanding or asking for from the government to help you rebuild and resettle?
I'm only asking if they can like assist me with a little assistance, they'll like to help me back on my feet. And that would be so nice. If they can, I'll be so grateful because, man, I won't lie, there's a lot of, so many disappointments, so many.
No, but Prince Will, I'm so sorry about the loss of goods. I'm glad that you're safe at least, and I'm very sure that this year will be a better year for you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, that was a conversation, a heart-wrenching one, with Nobet Prince Will, one of those affected by the fire. And Nobet Prince Will is just one of many more people who were affected by that fire last week. But moving on now to more stories. Gunmen on Wednesday night attacked and set ablaze the Divisional Police Headquarters in Ipele Community, Owa local government area of Ondo State. The assailants, numbering between 20 and 30, reportedly stormed the station around 9:40 p.m., firing assault rifles and using dynamite, which led to the destruction of the building and several exhibits. The Ondo State Police Command confirmed the attack, stating that no lives were lost and dismissing reports of the church attack. The attackers fled before security forces arrived. Now, Commissioner of the Police Adebowale Lawal has deployed additional tactical units and special forces to restore order as a coordinated manhunt for the attackers is underway. And in celebration of the new year, the Lagos State government has welcomed the first babies of 2026 born at selected public hospitals across the state. The symbolic visit took place at facilities including Ibejuleki General Hospital, Imota General Hospital, and Bagada General Hospital. Beyond marking an annual tradition, the gesture underscores the government's commitment to maternal and child health care while bringing smiles to families welcoming their newborns into the new year. News Central's Omolola Ololade is live at the Bagada General Hospital with more details. Omolola, Happy New Year to you. And this is a significant gesture that we've seen time and time again by the Lagos government. What significance does the Lagos State government attach to celebrating the first babies of each year?
Hello, blessings. Happy New Year to you too. You know, what a way to start. What a great way to start the new year, if you ask me. Because what other way to start the new year than to share in the joy of, you know, newborn baby presently, especially for those in Lagos State. I mean, this is an annual tradition for the Lagos State government coming to, you know, celebrate with newborn and their mothers and, of course, the entire family. But I think it's, you know, it's going to be beyond being a tradition. The Lagos State, I think it owes us, I think it holds, you know, an important visit to the Lagos State government, and that's because beyond putting smiles on the faces of those people, they have been able to, you know, provide, you know, some of the necessary things that, you know, this, the newborns and their mothers, and of course, will need, you know, to start on the journey for the baby.
This symbolic visit, what concrete steps are being taken to strengthen maternal and child health care across the state?
Okay, so blessings, beyond today's visit, you know, I remember that I've been able to, you know, we've done interviews with some of the, you know, some of the officials, even talking about healthcare practitioners too. And you know, one of the things they've emphasized on is nutrition. You know, talking about maternal and child care, it has been a struggle for many women, you know, trying to get the right nutritional values and all of that. And then the Lagos State government has been able to, you know, to provide, if not, you know, the major things that they need, they've been able to provide counselors for them, you know, for them to always walk into some of the selected public hospitals to get guidance on the right food, you know, the right thing to do at the right time, even when it comes to antenatal, because many of these women do not take antenatal serious, and this can pose, you know, a problem to maternal and child care. But, you know, going forward, they have been able to, you know, they've been able to do a lot in that aspect to ensure that women, especially pregnant pregnant women, get the adequate support that they need. And particularly, there was even one event that we went to, and the Commissioner of Health, that's Professor Abayomi, was saying that the state will be able to provide transportation for, women that are in distress, especially during pregnancy, who are trying to give it, especially during labor.
Omola Ololade with the updates from the General Hospital in Bagada regarding the celebration of the first babies of each year, and they are celebrating the first babies of 2026. We're going to a short break now. You're still live with us on the 12 report. When we come back, the details of more stories as we return. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. We had just had a conversation with one of those affected badly by the fire on Lagos Island last week. We have our correspondent now, Israel Ifarobo, who is on standby to give us updates on this and how far curtailing the fire has gone in the past 1 week. Israel, what is the situation of things at the moment?
To you, the situation of things right now here at the scene of the fire incident that happened exactly 8 days ago is the fact that the operations are still ongoing. At the moment, we got on ground not too long ago, and we were told that representatives of the Lagos State government, LASEMA, and all those in charge of things like this, LASBA, as well, the building control agencies, that they are on the ground trying to enlighten the people and speak to the press on what the next modalities will be in terms of clearing out this place, which would include bringing down this building that you see right here. They also informed me, the traders on the ground have also reliably informed me that a book has been opened for those who are looking for their loved ones, relatives, friends, family members to go ahead and document and register the names and who these people are to them. So those are some of the updates that has taken place in the last 24 hours here at the scene of this horrific fire incident that happened exactly 8 days ago. Blessings.
I recall you. All right, thank you, Israel, for joining us and giving us the update on the development. Now to more stories. Senegal's President Diomaye Faye has placed strong emphasis on ending violence against women, elevating the issue to a national priority as concerns about femicide and gender-based violence persist. He underscored that no form of violence against women will be tolerated under the law and outlined measures focused on prevention, victim protection, and strict punishment for offenders, reflecting government commitment to tackle impunity. The announcement aligned with ongoing efforts by local activists and international campaigns aimed at combating gender-based violence and promoting women's safety across the country. Authorities are expected to reinforce legal frameworks and enforcement as part of broader responses to the challenge.
Avec force qu'aucune violence n'est tolérable dans la République, en particulier celle faite aux femmes. Les féminicides et toutes les atteintes commises contre les plus vulnérables. L'État poursuivra sans relâche la prévention, la protection des victimes et la sanction implacable des auteurs, afin que la dignité...
A new year has started, and for many Nigerians, the calendar changed, but the pressure didn't. Prices are still high, incomes are still tight, and hope is now doing overtime. This year is not about vibes, it's about survival, it's about structure, and it's about strategy. You see, 2026 is expected to be a year where reforms stop being announcements and start biting. Fuel subsidy adjustments are settling into everyday life. Electricity tariffs are being reviewed, and tax reforms are set to fully kick in. And that means stricter enforcement, wider tax nets, as we've been discussing, and less room to manage compliance. A government is signaling one thing clearly: more efficiency on their end, more responsibility on ours. And it's left for us to find out how that pans out. Now, for businesses, this means tighter margins and higher operating costs. For workers, it means stretching income further than ever before. And for households, it means budgeting is no longer optional. And even when you budget sometimes, it's still really, really slim. It's mandatory. The era of spending first and figuring it out later is over, unfortunately. Now, this is also the year Nigerians will feel the full effect of exchange rate realities. Imports will remain expensive, travel will cost more, as we've seen, and anything tied to the dollar will continue to test our patience. We're not saying we don't hope that it gets better, but that is a reality on ground. Now, the adjustment phase is not ending anytime soon as well. So how do Nigerians prepare? Well, by getting financially literate. I think that's one of the most important things, and we need to talk more about that. By tracking income and expenses, by upskilling, diversifying income streams, and yes, it's easier said than done, and by asking harder questions about sustainability, and most importantly, by planning instead of hoping. 2026 will reward preparation and punish denial, unfortunately. It's not an easy year, but it can be a smart one. The system is changing. The question is whether Nigerians will adapt fast enough to stay afloat. And that's your postscript. Now, before we go, let's take a look at what's happening in the sporting world. First, Morocco welcomed the new year with calm, culturally rooted celebrations alongside the ongoing AFCON 2025 as residents and visiting fans marked the occasion in restaurants, hotels, and private gatherings rather than large street parties. For Nigeria's Super Eagles, Fez has become a familiar base. The team observed the new year quietly in camp, fully focused on preparations for their AFCON 2025 round of 16 match against Mozambique, as the CT balances tradition with hosting Africa's biggest football event. News Central's Udoka Njoku is live in Fez and will bring us update from Nigeria's base. Udoka, it's a new year, and of course the celebrations in Fez was quite different from what we see elsewhere. So how did the CT mark the occasion in the midst of the AFCON balls?
Thank you very much, Blessings, for having me. Yes, Fez is practically a village here in Morocco. I was expecting fireworks all over the place, but as at 12 a.m. up until this morning, no single soul was seen on the streets. And right now, we're on the road leading close to the stadium, and there's really no activity happening anywhere. Nobody's celebrating anything. It is New Year's Day. There was no single knockout. Even at the stadium, there was nothing to be heard from there. And also, the stadium is closed. The media center also closed as well. So no activities happening right here. But of course, in Marrakesh, in Rabat, and other parts of Morocco, we're very sure that New Year's Day was indeed celebrated well, because from there we could tell some of our colleagues actually told us that there were parties all over the place. But for us here in Fez, it was calm and quiet. The same way the Super Eagles are calm and quiet ahead of their game against Mozambique. Blessings.
All right. I guess different strokes for different folks, because right here on the streets of Lagos, the streets are abuzz with fireworks. But that's Udoka Njoku with more updates, and definitely you have to stay tuned on In the Games to get more updates in the sporting world. And that's all on the 12 report today. Remember, you may send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen, because we want to see what you see. Do also follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV, and you can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times 274, Avo TV, and of course live on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Blessings Wasugo.